At 1 on TNT2, two of the most exciting mixed martial artists in the world will go to war. On Wednesday, the 14th of April, Christian Lee will defend his one lightweight world title against Timofey Nastyukhin in a match that looks certain to steal the show.
The teenage sensation, Christian Lee, the human highlight reel.
Christian Lee is One Championship's blue-chip homegrown all-star. The Warrior made his pro debut on the global stage when he was just 17, and he became one of the youngest world champions when he knocked out Shinya Aoki 3.5 years later.
Aoki goes down! Oh yes! It's the shot! It's the upset! It's the phenom! It's Christian Lee!
During his rise to the top, Lee has racked up the most finishes in ONE history and has earned a reputation for starring in some of the most exciting fights in the promotion's history. His latest world title defense was a trademark Lee performance. It may not have lasted long, but he fit more action into 2 minutes and 19 seconds than most athletes manage in 5 full rounds.
The champ bounds out of his corner, straight into a beautiful hand, and takes Lapicus down. Well, a ferocious start here, a takedown from Lapicus, side control to half guard. No filling out process. No testing out the waters. Straight into the thick of the action.
Christian Lee went after Lapicus, but then Lapicus just threw Christian Lee on his back in dominant fashion. Yuri Lapicus is a beast, ladies and gentlemen. Christian Lee can't go anywhere. You're not supposed to sit flat on your back like that. He knows you're supposed to get on your side, but the strength of Yuri Lapicus is just flattening out. There goes Christian Lee. Now he's starting to roll, trying to go underneath the leg for a sweep. Yuri Lapicus is not having it.
It was Lee who came out of his corner explosively.
Good butterfly hook there from Christian Lee to create a little bit of space. I like how he's trying to elevate the hips here of Yuri Lapicus, but Lapicus is all over him. Christian Lee's keeping that guard nice and tight now. Look how he has the hands wrapped around the head of Yuri Lapicus, just buying a little bit of time now.
Inside of half guard, the champion Christian Lee, the 22-year-old phenom. Lapicus, who has never gone beyond a 3rd round and only been there once before. Every other match he's finished in the 1st round.
Christian Lee's trying to keep that half guard. Yuri was able to escape. Good job by Christian Lee to work his way back up to his feet. Goes after the body lock. Trip attempt right there, landed beautifully by Christian Lee to end up in side control.
Top position now for the champion. Good takedown from Christian. 3:15 remains, 1st of 5. It's been electrifying. Chance for the reverse elbows here for Christian. What does Lapicus do off his back, Dragon?
Lapicus is not used to this. Look at Christian Lee trying to go knee on belt. Beautiful mount by Yuri Lapicus, but Lapicus sneaks out the back door. Now he's going after an Achilles lock.
That was amazing. The sneak out the back was phenomenal, and here comes the champion pounding away. Lapicus goes turtle shell, tries to roll out again. Hammer fist strike side of the head. Lapicus is done. Lapicus is finished. Christian Lee, you are amazing. What a world champion. Russia's Timofey Nastyukhin, a human wrecking ball, a juggernaut.
Timofey Nastyukhin might be the most explosive and dangerous athlete in all of mixed martial arts. The Siberian wrecking machine debuted in the circle by knocking out Eduard Falayong via spectacular flying knee and set the record for the fastest KO in ONE history with his 6-second KO of Rob Lasita. But his most famous victory came when he destroyed mixed martial arts icon Eddie Alvarez.
Here comes Nastyukhin. It's good night, Irene! Timofey Nastyukhin knocks out Eddie Alvarez.
That shocking win proved Nastyukhin is one of the best fighters on the planet and led to a world title eliminator against dangerous Dutchman Peter Boust.
Nastyukhin slugs early, overhand right. Gotta watch the overhand right and the left hooks of Timofey Nastyukhin. Front kick there from Peter. Thought about the inside leg kick, fires another front kick. Timofey catches it, didn't get the counter off.
It's a lot of power coming from Nastyukhin early. You can see his lats are just gigantic. It looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
You wonder here if Peter Baust is working to time a knee, waiting for Timofey to explode in and draw that rising knee to the jaw. There's the lift hook again from Timofey. Baust cannot be flat-footed against Nastyukhin. Eddie Alvarez made that mistake. Cannot allow Nastyukhin to back him up against the wall here.
Yeah, that's what Timofey's trying to do. He's trying to push him up against that fence and let go of those monstrous hands. But Baust is doing a good job of keeping his hands nice and tight and deflecting a lot of these shots. He knows just how dangerous Nastyukhin is.
A win here could propel either man to top contender in this most stacked division. You do sense that Nastyukhin has respect for Baust. He's aware of the ability of Baust in all areas, particularly in the counter-striking of the beanpole Dutchman. Outside leg kick there from Peter. Circles off counterclockwise. He'll try and stay away from that power side, the right side of Timofey. Timofey looking to cut off the movement of the Dutchman. The Dutch have been renowned in history as the best kickboxers in the world. So many great K1 champions over the years. Semi Schultz and Peter Ertz and Remy Bunjaski, Ernesto Hoost, Andy Sauer, list goes on. When it comes to the striking, nobody does it better in kickboxing than the Dutch. Inside leg kick from Timofey. Catch and counter there from Timofey. As always, Nastyukhin looking ripped, stripped and striated. A Christmas tree on the back there. That deltoid's like a bunch of bananas. Tremendous shape.
You can see Timofey's trying to time that knee. He's trying to catch that knee and then come over the top with that big right hand. He knows that Baust has got a lot of weapons, and he's trying to figure out the timing of him right now. Monstrous punches coming from Timofey.
It looks like Timofey's drilled one particular technique in training to catch the kicking leg and then counter. At the moment, just hasn't got the distance, but he'll edge forward, he'll inch up, he'll get there. Overhand right, nice counter. On the balls of his feet, Timofey. Looks to check the low kick, does Baust, and just a warning for the low blow there. Accidental, of course, from Timofey Nastyukhin. 120 remains, and Mitch, I am on the edge of my seat for this one. I've got goosebumps just thinking about what could happen and watching it go down.
See, that force came with it that time. He was able to catch the kick, march forward, throw that right hand. There was so much force behind it that Baust went to his back. Baust is dangerous in his guard, but you can see Nastyukhin circled around, now has side control.
1 minute left in the first round.
Well, being on the ground doesn't negate the height advantage that Peter has. Side control here for Nastyukhin, trying to pin that right arm. Couldn't pin it though.
No.
Looking to control the posture here is Peter Baust. 45 seconds on the clock, first round of 3.
Baust is a very good jiu-jitsu player, and a lot of times he gets very comfortable on his back. He needs to be a little bit more urgent and get back up to his feet, because Nastyukhin is going to try to drop those hammers on him.
Nastyukhin, 2014 Fila penetration champion. Picks him up, puts him down. Up on both knees here. Posting up with the right arm momentarily, Peter Baust.
Good seatbelt position by Nastyukhin as he works around to the side, trying to get ready to throw those knees to the head of Baust. Baust he has to work his way back up. He can't end this round in this bad position like this. He's got to separate those hands, work his way back to his feet.
End of the round, we go to the towels. Folks, let us know how you score it wherever you're watching around the world. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Give us a follow at One Championship. Dragon, intriguing opening round. Really just the tension here between these two, and the urgency from Nastyukhin is palpable.
Yeah, you can see it. He's trying to catch that kick, throw that big right hand. But that first round was all about the aggression coming from Timofey Nastyukhin. He definitely kept that pressure on Peter Baust, trying to pin him up against the fence and then let go with those hands. Good game plan so far from Timofey Nastyukhin.
But look how relaxed Baust is in his corner. Nodding at his trainer, composed, almost a zen-like state for Baust. Sometimes you think Peter Baust is up against him. He's under attack, but then he just pulls out a knee or an elbow or a high kick and he turns the tide or finishes his opponent. You know, in Holland, Muay Thai is classified in classes. When you start off your career, you're really in the lower class. The best class of Muay Thai athlete in Holland, the best kickboxers are A class. And that's what Peter Boust is. He is A class. He's Dutch champion A class in Muay Thai. It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, Michael, he's had over 100 kickboxing matches in Holland. He is so experienced on his feet, and he's very good off his back. But he's got to pick things up a little bit because Timofey is going to do this for 15 minutes. He's going to keep that pressure on him.
Obviously, he's brought the transition to mixed martial arts so well from his kickboxing and Muay Thai. Mitch, what does that require, and how does Boust do it so well?
He's just so composed. It's his mindset. It's his belief inside of himself that he truly believes he can do anything. He is truly blessed. And talking to him, you start to feel it too. You believe his confidence, his swagger that he has.
Plenty of movement here from Nastyukhin. He is throwing first. He is the aggressor. Boust may be buying his time, maybe wants to draw Timofey into deep water of the third round, hoping that Timofey will gas out. But it's a big risk if indeed that's what Boust is doing. Jab from Nastyukhin to the overhand right, catches that leg, tries to drop down and falls hammer off the right hand there. Long legs keeping Timofey at bay. 3:30 remains, second round of 3.
Easy past the guard, just through the legs to the side. Good transition by Boust to attack that single and then press him up against the wall.
He took those hammer fist strikes from Nastyukhin like they were nothing. Back up to their feet here. Nastyukhin glancing up at the big screen to gauge how much time is left. Now, just have a listen here. Is Nastyukhin starting to blow heavy? The heavy breathing you're hearing in this very quiet arena, closed door event, of course, inside the massive Singapore Indoor Stadium. The heavy breathing is Nastyukhin's.
You know, inside the global rule set, we do not judge round by round. We judge the match on its entirety. So this is, I mean, at any point you can change the complexion of this match, but you can see Timofey's not really slowing down.
Mitch, does that maybe tell you that Peter believes he can finish Timofey Nastyukhin, a tired Nastyukhin in the third?
That very well could be it. I mean, I was speaking to him earlier this week, and he spoke very specifically about taking Nastyukhin into deep water, trying to get him into that third round, wearing him out, and then taking advantage of that.
Nastyukhin's beaten so many great opponents. Of course, the knockout of Eddie Alvarez, win over Amir Khan, over Koji Ando. The list goes on. Edward Folaying, of course. They share that common opponent. Wrist control here from Timofey Nastyukhin. Half guard position, top position. Good curling into the knuckles off the right hand from Nastyukhin. Boust working off his back. Going to get mounted, no, gives up his back here to Nastyukhin. That could be dangerous. We saw Nastyukhin ragdoll him in the previous round.
Oh, that's a much more energy economical takedown that he used. Outside trip, gets Boust back onto his back. In the first round, he was picking him up, trying to take him for belly-to-belly suplexes, but Boust is very composed, still very relaxed, still not even breathing heavy. We saw the gas tank of Boust in that 3-round war with Folaying. He wasn't even breathing heavy at the end of 15 minutes, but he's got to have a little bit more urgency because Timofey might build up too much of a lead.
You hear the breathing again of Nastyukhin in that top position. 1 minute 5 remaining, second round. We move into the third. There'll still be 5 minutes remaining. And you feel that's where Boust will want to swing that pendulum, will want to put the foot down and look to drop Timofey Nastyukhin.
See, this is where Boust is very comfortable. On his back, in guard, he'll start to look for transitions. He'll start to try to shove arms through, look for triangles, go for arm bars, but he's got to have a little bit more urgency behind it.
Still looking very composed though, Boust. Got an elbow off his back, had a foot on hips. Still has Timofey inside his guard, controlling Timofey's posture. 20 seconds or so now, second round of 3. Looks like we're going to go to the third. Close guard now from Peter Boust. Not allowing Timofey to posture up and drop those heavy hands. Ties up the arms now. It's been 2 good rounds thus far for Timofey Nastyukhin. but I get the feeling this is exactly where Peter Boust wants to be. Moving to the third.
That's what we saw in the bout with Kota Shimoishi. We saw Boust wear him out and then perform that beautiful knee to get the KO finish. But we're seeing lots of this. We're seeing lots of forward pressure to the takedown, utilizing the catch, and then dumping Boust down on the ground. Monstrous overhand right thrown by Timofey.
Mitch, if this was the end of your overall contest, you'd give it to Timofey Nastyukhin at the moment, correct?
At the end of 10 so far, it's Timofey Nastyukhin.
Now have a look here on the stalls. You see blood sweat, you see a little cut just on the side of the nose there on Nastyukhin. He's breathing the heavier. Controlled breaths from Boust. Not much sweat from the Dutchman. Still looking very relaxed.
Out.
Is this the moment he pulls the trigger? Inside the mighty Singapore Indoor Stadium. Has this been the game plan of Boust all along, to weather the storm of Nastyukhin in the first 2 rounds and turn up the temperature? Drive up the mercury here in the third. Jab from Timofey. All it takes is one head kick, one high knee from Peter.
See, but Timofey doesn't really fade. We saw it in the match with Koji Ando. He took him to a unanimous decision victory because he kept that pressure going. And again, we saw the same thing with Amir Khan. He scored 2 unanimous decision victories back-to-back, utilizing a very technical and strategic game plan.
You see the exertion there from Timofey, throwing everything behind these punches with a loud ki. Overhand right again from Timofey. Calls forward, Boust responds with a long right hand down the tube. He gets such extension on those arms.
But with those big, giant movements that Timofey's doing, he's starting to leave himself open, and we're seeing Boust start to tighten things up a little bit and score with the jabs and the push kicks.
Is there frustration creeping in now, Dragon, on Timofey?
You can start to see he's starting to just really throw those big power shots, and Boust is staying very technical, very strategic, and he keeps touching him over and over again.
A real contrast of martial artists here. One going repeatedly for the finish, the other biding his time, looking for the minute opening to present itself. There's the high kick, there's the catch, goes counter body, looping left of the head, not catching though. Not striking the target, Timofey Nastyukhin. Boust resets. Nastyukhin constantly moving. Right hand lead there, a little faking dip off the left to disguise it. Oh, nice cracking right down the center there from Boust. That was one of the best punches of the match so far from Peter. Jab and retracts it quickly just to cover up against the counter.
A lot of feints coming from Timofey. You can see how he bobs to the left. I'd like to see Boust throw that jab, get him to shift to the left, and then throw a switch kick high.
Let's go.
Timofey, side-to-side movement, catch, tries to sweep the support leg, hasn't done that too much. It was an interesting change of tactic. Picks him up, boom, shakalaka. Almost put him through the canvas.
Big takedown landed by Timofey. Everything he does is just so exaggerated and powerful.
Halfway through the third and final round.
Well-timed takedown right here. You know this is where Timofey wants to be because Boust is usually so comfortable just sitting there and just working the jiu-jitsu. But he's got to have a little bit more urgency. Nice attempt at a sweep right there. Now he's got that knee shield. He might easily stepped over and passed for Timofey.
Side control needs to be head there from Timofey. Hammer fist strikes from Timofey. Puts him inside of half guard, does Peter Boust. Under 2 minutes remaining. If Peter Boust is going to go, the time to go is now. If we were scoring it after 2 rounds as an overall contest, we would have had Timofey ahead. It's time for Boust now. But has he got what it takes to go? Nastyukhin has been relentless all over him, continually coming forward.
See, Timofey is not just a brawler, Michael. He is very strategic. He's an incredible architect of destruction.
Well, as I said earlier, Mitch, a 2014 Vila Pancration champion. We've got over 150 martial arts world champions on the one roster. Left hook, overhand right. There is now 60 seconds remaining for Boust. The Dutch tower needs to find something. Mitch, you've got to ask the question now. Does Peter Boust need to knock out or submit Timofey Nastyukhin to win this match?
You know he carries that power. Those knees are always dangerous, but time is not on his side.
Is Timofey ripe for the picking yet?
Peter Boust has to defend that number 3 spot because Timofey is nipping at the heels.
Boust number 3, Nastyukhin number 4. Nastyukhin could get the number 3 position with a win tonight. He may be 15 seconds away from it. What has Boust got? Goes to the body off the right leg, throws the jab. Timofey still throwing those heavy hand, jumping knee from Boust. One of the few knees actually the jumping knee. Timofey Nastyukhin gets the win with what can only be described as a powerhouse performance.
Lee and Nastyukhin made their names beating mixed martial arts greats. And now they will go head-to-head as the top 2 athletes in the lightweight division. A world title fight should bring the best out of these men, so expect a thriller in the main event of One on TNT 2.